as elected officials want them to do if they can't get jobs? What do you want them to do? You got a man that was determined to have had a felony working on the governor's staff. And when it came out, because he was connected to one of the congressmen, Luis Gutierrez, this is public information. He was a friend of Luis Gutierrez, congressman. He had a felony working on Governor Bevorovic's staff. When the media brought it to the governor, his reply was, everybody deserves a second chance. Well, I support your statement, Mr. Governor. And those people that have been incarcerated, that have paid their time to society, they deserve a second chance. So therefore, we need laws on the book that say expungement is immediately upon release. And we need black elected officials, we need Hispanic elected officials to stand up and cry out for expungement laws to allow these people to get jobs and not let that pass be a hindrance from them being able to be productive citizens. See, we got laws that benefit who we want them to benefit. And the poor and everyday common people are not benefiting from the system. We need jobs in our community. We need jobs if you want to stop crime, if you want to stop drugs, if you want to stop gangs. But the problem is they don't want to. And you don't have no black voices of leadership that will speak out and cry out. I find that the common everyday people in this country, in this city, in this state are hurting. And they're looking for help. And it's not limited to black people. It's not limited to white people. It's not limited to Hispanic people. It's limited to the poor that have not been provided for by those that are in power. They constantly tax and overburden the people with fees. And there's no concern. They're only looking out for the rich. I find that people, the common everyday people, have lost faith in our leadership. And they don't know who to look to or where to look for help. Because there's no voices of leadership in our community. There's no voices to address the needs of the common everyday people in our community. The people are being constantly overtaxed. The county's talking about a new property tax. The mayor's pushing a new tax. They're talking about casinos. They're putting heavy burdens upon the common everyday people. To you, Mr. Governor, you, Mr. Mayor, you, Mr. Elected officials that make 6-digit incomes, and department heads and house Negroes that get on radio stations and promote and support these tax increases. Well, you making $100, $200, $300, $1 million, $2, $3 million a year. Well, that's no problem to you to pay extra $20, $30, $40, $50 a month in fees and taxes. But to the everyday common people, that's a hardship, sir. That's a burden on the people. When they already have to make choices after they pay their rent and buying food and keeping their lights on or their gas or their phone, while you just living the life of a king. We don't need new tax laws. We need good paying jobs for the people that are going to work every day and living paycheck to paychecks. Crime, drugs, and gangs in our community is a direct result of economic embargo that's going on in our inner city communities. And you know, it puzzles me when I deal with educated people. And the worst thing that you can be dealing with is an educated fool. Educated people take the position that people choose to be in the circumstances and condition that they are in. And it's their choice. It's not life, it's not society that has put these hard burdens upon the people. It's the choice that they make. It's the choice. It's not the choice. It's what we're forced to have to deal with. where you have to make a decision between have and have nots. When you have to make a decision between going, let me give you another example. Let me just switch gears of the burden that's put upon the people. The Chicago Public School changed its format a few years ago to some schools where you had a dress code. Every kid in the Chicago Public School has to be dressed uniformed at that particular school. Now, when they passed that law, they didn't make no provisions to give money to these parents that didn't have to go out and buy these uniforms that these kids have to wear. But in the meanwhile, there's some clothing manufacturing, some store, some businesses making millions of dollars every year because everybody got to wear white shirt, blue pants, or whatever the school colors are. And those parents that are living on fixed income, that's living on welfare, they're in the same boat as the rich. They got to go out and spend their hard to come by money. I would say hard earned, but hard to come by money. In addition to have to make a decision after paying their rent, paying their light bill, paying their gas bill, paying their phone bill, putting food in the house, and trying to buy Junior something. They got to then go out and buy enough of these uniforms for the whole school year. Overtaxing, overburdening the people. It's a game. Somebody's making money off that idea that every kid should be dressed alike. We should let Ernie Duncan and Mr. Williams provide the bill for those that could not pay for these additional expenses. But they don't care. They don't care. That's a way somebody making money. Somebody came to a board meeting and proposed this idea that all kids should be dressed like, with the motive that we can make money because we got to supply these stores with these particular style, the school name and this and that, and we'll make money. And somebody bit into it. Somebody probably got hands got grease under the table to support that. But again, you don't have a home. We as a people, we tend to repeat what we hear other people say. Whether it's true or not, we tend to repeat what we hear other people say. The problem with the home is there's no father in the home. I heard elected officials on TV say this. It's true. The family structure should be the strongest foundation behind every child. But let me tell you something. A home is not a home if you don't have financial means in that home. If you can't pay your bills and you're struggling to keep your gas on that child, seeing the gas being cut off, the lights being cut off, no food in the house, where there is no economic dollars, there's no home. The structure of the family is defeated. A family should be a strong institution. And whether it's a mother or father in that house, if you have economic stability in that home, you have a home. You see, if you go into suburban communities and you go in wealthier parts of the inner city communities where the income brackets are 6-digit or more, or $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year or more, you don't really have drug problems in that community. You don't have gang problems in that community. You can leave your doors open at night. You can leave your keys in your car. You don't have to worry about crime because the economics dictate the condition of a community. And where there's economic stability, you don't have the same crimes that you have in poor inner city communities. But a home is not based on two parents. A home is based on being able to provide for that family. So the family structure is dependent on the flow of wealth coming into that community. Communities that have wealth, again, jobs. They don't have crime or gang problems. They have drug problems because I keep telling you, African Americans, black folks, colored folks, whatever you want, are not the biggest consumer of drugs in the city, in the state. We go to jail at unproportionate rate to anybody else. And I'm so tired of seeing on